Some of you may remember a while ago that I made this video where I challenged myself to create an amigurumi in 1 hour, with every intention of then following that up with a 10-hour challenge and then a 100-hour challenge. And those last two just never eventuated because the honest truth is I just lost motivation for it, not for the concept of the challenge itself, but rather what I was crocheting. So what I've decided to do, because I still would like to do this challenge in its entirety, is just wipe the slate clean and start again with an amigurumi that I think I will see through all 3 challenges, and that is going to be a mermaid horse. Now, some of you might think, isn't that just a hippocampus? And yes, you're correct, but I have been informed in no uncertain terms by a 2-year-old that mermaid horse is in fact the correct terminology here, so that is what I'm going to make. So we're going to start off by sort of just briefly sketching out what we want to make, because I've set myself an additional smaller challenge for this overarching challenge, and that is to construct all 3 of these amigurumi, the 1 hour, the 10 hour and the 100-hour versions, out of the same pieces. So by that I mean I'm going to have like 1 head piece, 1 body piece, 1 tail piece. Phone, don't interrupt me, please. They're all going to be placed in the same positions, the same configuration. It's just as I go up the time scale, I'm also going to increase in size and complexity. So let's say I'm going to have 1 head, like so. And on this 1 hour piece, even small details such as like the nostrils, I may not even include those. And then we want the body piece. So that's going to be one piece. And then we're going to have the body itself. So if we have like the neck and the body. And then the tail is just going to be a piece attached to that. So we'd have the open end sort of sewn on here. And then at the end of that, we will of course have the flukes, the fins. And then we'll have front legs like sticking out here, yada yada. But for this first miniature hippocampus mermaid horse, I've got to remember to call it a mermaid horse, but I'm gonna use my go-to when I'm making small amigurumi, and that is to use popcorn stitch legs. I'll probably just have like a little bump at the front here. So that'll be the legs, little popcorn stitch legs. As we work our way up to the larger pieces in the longer time span or the longer time frame, I will make actual leg-shaped legs. Now that I have my sort of basic... What was that? Whatever. But now that I have my sort of the real basic shapes that I want, I can start with the head. Yeah, let's go with the head. I'm going to put 1 hour on the clock. I'm not all that confident just because there are a few parts to this mermaid horse, and that's not including if I want to add a mane, for example. And while I could attempt to make this as a no-sew 1 piece, I think trying to work out the shaping of that would take more time than simply making 3 or 4 individual pieces and sewing them together. And I don't know if I can do this in under 1 hour, but we're going to try. I've grabbed out some yarn. I'm going to be going pink and rainbow, and I'm going to try and keep that theme throughout the entire not hippocampus mermaid horse challenge. 1 hour. Actually, you'll be able to see it on here too. 1 hour, ready, set, go. All right, we're starting off with the head. 4mm hook. And I'm going to go with 6 to begin, the usual. And I really need to try and keep this piece as small as possible while getting the shaping detail that I want. I often find myself making pieces larger than I intend to, so I'm hoping that I can rein myself in here. So we're going to go with 6. think we're going to keep it there for the muzzle slash mouthpiece. Now, we're not making a bloody mouse, we're making a mermaid horse. Yeah, I'm going to leave out the nostrils. Like, it wouldn't be too hard to make them. I could just add in a chain 2 or a chain 3 in the front loop. But A, I'm thinking of doing that for the ears, and B, that's just a level of detail I don't think is required in this smaller piece. I mean, hell, if I've got time at the end, I can always embroider some on. That's probably going to do me for the muzzle. I might decrease and then increase in the round directly after that. And to, at least if I say aloud what I'm doing, that will make it really easy to reverse engineer the pattern later. Good thinking, Lee. It wasn't intentional, but hey. Okay, now we're going to broaden out to the head. So I've been working in like increments of, oh, don't you dare tangle yarn. I can't be wasting time on this. So now I'm going to increase out. So I think I'm going to increase by 6 this time rather than the 3 I've been using so far. I'm wary of going any larger than that. I might put in a round of single crochet here. Look, I said that I wasn't going to increase out again, but I think just once more. I can get away with just once more, right? I hope that's not foreshadowing. I think now is a good point at which to include the ears. I'm not making them as separate pieces. I'm going to crochet them as part of this piece. And I think I'll do this as I've done with like previous popcorn stitch mini patterns that I've made. And that is to work the ear in the front loop. And then the subsequent round will be worked into the back loop of that stitch. So it means you can get an ear in there, but you don't have to worry about stopping and sewing and all that good stuff. So what do I have? 24. I had 24 stitches in my round. So if I go 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, then my first ear worked in the front loop. Normally I would do a picot stitch for an ear, but that is a little bit more time consuming. So I'm just going to chain 3 and then I'll continue. We'll go 6. Then in the next front loop, 2, 3, back in there. And all the chains and stitches that I've made in those front loops, they don't count as stitches in the round. So I don't have to worry about adding those to my total. And if I've mathed right, I should have 8 here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now I was going to do another round of just 24 single crochet, but honestly, I think that'll be too many. So we're going to chuck in our first decrease round here. I think now's a good time to add safety eyes. I should have got them out in advance. That would have been the smart thing to do. Save a few precious seconds. I'll grab out the stuffing too. I think we're just going to continue decreasing from here. So we just did 2 single crochet and a decrease. So we're down to 1 single crochet and a decrease. You know what, we're making pretty good time here. If I can get this done with 45 minutes to go, i.e. it takes about 15 minutes, then we have 15 minutes-ish for the body, 15 minutes for the tail. That will leave me about 15 minutes to or for assembly. I think that's a time frame I can work with. So I've sort of gone over the 15-minute mark, but that's okay. I don't know if if it's just 3 pieces that need to be sewn together, I don't know if I'd need the full 15 minutes for that. But I mean, it's still nice to have a little bit of wiggle room. And then 6. And cut, pull up, and pause. So there's our headpiece. I think that looks decent. For the remaining 2 pieces, which will be the body and the tail, I'm going to aim to have them roughly the same number of rounds. What did we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So if I can do those in maybe somewhere between 12 and 15 rounds, and hopefully if I can contain it to about 15 minutes each, that will give me that window of time that I want at the end for assembly. The body I'm going to do in the pink yarn as well. I will save the coloured variegated yarn for the tail. You know what, I'm going to switch up the camera angle a bit just because I know this phone arm that I've got, it really gets in the way. I feel like I'm talking to you guys and there's just half my face is covered. I have to sort that out, find something that works better, but let's use the proper camera instead. I mean, that should work, right? You can see everything. So I might pop up that so you guys can all see the timer. Nope, not there. Not there. Let's move you over a little bit. And start. Magic circle, 6 single crochet in the magic circle, but I'm going to start off this piece a little bit larger. For the nose, I only increased out to 9, but we want the bottom of this piece to be wider because I'll be starting at the bottom of the body here and then working my way up to the neck. I think that might be wide enough. That was 18. So if that's the base of the body, I don't think I need to go any bigger than that. We might chuck in a round of single crochet here. This is the round in which I'll put the legs. So I'm going to put 2 popcorn stitches at the front here. Yeah, I think here I need another round of single crochet because I do want the bottom portion of this body / neck piece to be a bit wider. For my decreases in this piece, I'm going to stack them at the front because I want the body to curve inwards to shape the neck. Alright, I should have 15 in my round now. And another thing I'm considering, and I'm probably going to do, is alternate between 1 decrease round and 1 single crochet round. That's also something that will help keep that decline, that curve, nice and subtle. If I can finish this body piece in the next 5-ish minutes, I'm going to be on track. I'm not quite as worried about hitting my hour target as I was at the start. I don't think I need to decrease down any further than that. I've reached 9 as my total stitch count. However, I do think I need 1 more round, just 1. So we're going to pop in a round of single crochet and 9. Okay, that is the final round. Go, go, go. Tail for sewing. add the stuffing. I'm on track to hit my target. So it shouldn't take me 2 minutes to add the stuffing, hopefully. Come on, stuffing. Whew, come on. Just a couple of little bits. And pause. Nice. Given the restraints I'm working under, I think those have worked out fairly well. You know, normally when I'm designing amigurumi, there is a bit of back and forth. I frog a lot of my work. I redesign around. I'll change the order of certain stitches. I don't have the luxury of doing that in this case, but in a weird way, I think that's kind of advantageous. I'm not stressing about trying to get this perfect. I'm just thinking about getting it done. It does take a bit of the weight off. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. The final piece that I need to make, as of now, I kind of forgot that I need to make a mane, but I think I might worry about that in the details section. So the final piece I want to crochet now is the tail. And I'm really hoping I can get that done in roughly the same amount of time as it's taken me to make these two pieces. It is only going to be a small piece, probably roughly the same number of rounds as these two, maybe a few more because it's a tail. I would like to give it some length, but yeah, we're keeping it small. Are you guys still able to? Yeah, you can still see the timer. Okay, so for the tail, I am using my May Rainbow yarn, which should make my niece very happy. Go. Resume, please. So when I was sort of thinking about the design I wanted to do, you know, in my head, I was picturing these hip mermaid horses with scales on their tail, but that is definitely something that will need to be saved for the 10-hour and the 100-hour versions. I really won't have time to add that sort of detail in this one. I don't think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I considered maybe working the entire thing in the back loop only, but I honestly don't think that's going to give the appearance of scales. You know, I was going to stagger my increases and keep this nice and even, but I'm actually thinking now I might stack them. Just because this piece is going to be small and simple doesn't mean it can't have a little bit of shaping going on. So I think we'll give the tail some of that. We might stack our increases at the top here. I'm playing with fire here. I've decided to drop my stitch marker because that does actually save you seconds of time. However, the flip side of that is if I forget my stitches or my stitch count, I'm going to have to frog, and that's going to waste even more time than not using the stitch marker saved me. I increased out to 15 there, and if I place that against the body, I mean, that's okay, but do you think I should? I think I maybe should increase out by 3 once more, get me to 18. Because I don't know, that just looks a little bit small, and pathetic. So I might go another round of increases and then maybe just some single crochet to add to the length. That should get me to 18. Let's have a look. Yeah, I do think that looks a little bit better. So we're just throwing a few rounds of just single crochet here. And 18, that'll do. I could maybe add a couple more rounds for more length on the tail, but I really don't want to waste time. If I think that looks better, that's something I can workshop later for the pattern. I need to now make fins. Because I didn't make them as one piece, I will have to crochet them separately and then attach them. So for that, I'm just going to do, let's chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then we'll go double. I might throw in a picot stitch here to give our tail a bit of a point. So that we'll go half double in the same stitch, and then maybe slip stitch as well. Slip stitch between, and then I'm just going to reverse what I did to make my first fluke. Tail for sewing. Boom, done. All my pieces. Assembly time. Looks like we have a second secret surprise challenge going on too. Can I finish this 1 hour challenge before my camera battery runs out? It's on 26%. So let's not waste any time or battery. So these are all of my pieces. I have yet to crochet the mane for my mermaid horse, but I think it would be better if I crochet that directly off the head. We are battling against both time and battery here, so I'm just going to jump straight into this. In good news though, I do have 22 minutes left to do my assembly in. I was aiming for 15 and I got, 7 minutes over that, so that is really good, and I did not expect that, if I'm being honest. Hopefully I can use that remaining time wisely. All right, I need my pins. And this is probably going to end up being a little bit ugly because I know from experience that if I don't take my time when I'm assembling, it's very easy to get things, off center, asymmetrical. So I've got to find that balance between getting the pieces looking all right, they're looking good, but also assembling quickly. Okay, there. Now we want to make sure the head is aligned properly over the little popcorn stitch legs, though I might tilt the head off to the side a little bit, tilt it on a bit of an angle just because I think that looks cute. That's the trouble when you use popcorn stitches. Whenever you go to sew a piece after the fact, the yarn always catches on them, without fail, every time. Chuck you there, tail time. Oh, I didn't add stuffing to the tail. I forgot to stuff it. Ow, I knew that was going to happen. Whenever I'm working with these small pieces, I always stab myself with pins. All right, let's see how this sits. Not well. Oh well, I'm not going for balance here. That's not my goal today. My aim is just to get a mermaid horse finished in under 1 hour. Anything else? It's kind of irrelevant. And I probably don't have to rush this sewing as much as I am, because looking at the clock, I do have 17 minutes left, but I don't know how long it's going to take me to crochet the mane, so I want to leave myself as much time as I possibly can. How's the camera battery doing? Oh, we're on 17%. What's going to run out first, the timer or the camera battery? Okay, that's done. Just got to pop on the fins. The good thing about a small piece like this, if I can get it bloody threaded, is that it's only going to need like three or four stitches. Right, you lot, I don't need you anymore, and you're just getting in my way. I'm wasting my time. We're coming up on 13 minutes. I don't know if that's going to be long enough to crochet an entire horse mane. Maybe I can get away with just doing a couple of chains. Maybe that'll suffice as a mane. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a sec because I want to do the mane in a different color and I'll need to go grab that out. 13% camera battery. Can we do this? It's not quite the right blue, but I'm just going with it for now. Do not have time or battery to spare. All right, resume. We're just going to start at the top of the head here. insert our hook, and then chain. I'm stressing out, and I don't think I need to be because I've got 10, 11 minutes to go. I think I've got this one in the bag. If I'm remembering correctly, the last time I did this when I made the fox sparks, I think I cut that really close. Whether I went a little bit over time in the assembly, I think that's what might have happened, but I don't have that pressure this time, which, I don't know, maybe I've crocheted faster, but I would have thought this I was going to say hippocampus again. Hope my niece doesn't see this, but this mermaid horse I thought would take me longer because, again, from memory, the fox sparks was mostly one piece except for the tail. 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But I mean, that was a while ago, and my memory is not the best. Brain fog will do that to you. I might go down a few more. I've got time. The question is though, do I have battery? I'm going to pause for a sec. Because I have 7.5 minutes left, I might do a couple more strands of the mane, and I might add in a few small details such as the nostrils, but I really need to charge my camera, so I'm going to turn that one off, but you guys will get to watch this one here. And with 4 minutes and 49 seconds remaining on the clock, I've completed my wild hair little hippet. I keep doing that. My wild hair little mermaid horse. I'm kind of regretting now that I didn't match the main color more carefully to the rest of the body. It doesn't look bad. It's just I do have yarns that would have suited the color palette better, I think. Oh well, too late now. I was just sort of focused on getting this done. But for what it is, which is an amigurumi designed in under 1 hour, I think I did a good job. I really do think that is kind of cute. It's not complex, it's just nice and basic. I even forewent like adding the nostrils, even though I would have had time to do that. I just, looking at it, I don't think I want like 2 giant black spots on the face, so I left them off. If I change my mind, I can always add them later, but for now, I think I like the face sans nostrils. But what I will be doing is giving all these mermaid horses to my niece when I'm done, but I do want to complete the 10-hour and the 100-hour versions first. Speaking of things that I need to complete, and today's featured creator on the hookup is Stitchcraft Gifts, and she says, "Hi, I'm Jenny, a UK-based crocheter with a focus on home furnishings. I first picked up a hook in 2019 and fell in love with the craft almost immediately. I now have a small business selling my work online and at craft fairs, as well as organising craft fairs myself. I started a podcast on YouTube about 8 months ago and am absolutely loving sharing my work with everyone in that way." That is understandable and relatable. I find the same thing. One of the nice things about just having your own little space on the internet is that you get to interact with like-minded people or people who share similar hobbies. Like, it's especially nice when you don't have someone like IRL that you can do that with. So you have to outsource that to people on the internet. But anyway, if you'd like to check out Stitchcraft Gifts links, they will all be down in the description, and make sure you go and subscribe to their YouTube channel and podcast too. And that is all that I have for you guys today. I am actually excited to get started on the 10-hour version of this little guy, which I didn't find with when I did the fox sparks. I sort of kept putting it off and putting it off. I just wasn't motivated to do it. But I find the opposite is true in this case. So thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Share it if you think it's worth sharing. And I will see you in the next one. I should also probably name this little guy. Although maybe I should leave that for my niece to do. Although I don't really trust her naming ability. She has her dolls that she plays with. Some of the names include Castle, Saucepan, Ladybug. What was the other one? They're like celebrity names, and I'm not sure I should saddle you with one of those. That might be a little bit cruel. If you have any weird name suggestions, you can always put them down in the comments. My niece might like that. Anyway, I will see you in the next one. I'm really going now.